good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. Today is Monday, the 17th of August. Welcome to the Full Hundreds, the first of the week. Unfortunately, I didn't put a video out Friday. I was at the Grenfell silent march on Friday, supporting the cause, and so it was quite emotional, an emotional day, guys. We've got a mixed bag of a show for you guys today. So without further ado, let's get to it. I want to start with where I left off on Thursday. As you guys know, Kamala Harris was picked on Wednesday to be Joe Biden's running mate. I brought that to you guys on Thursday. However, on Thursday, I warned you guys that the fake news will soon begin with her. Okay, I told you guys to look out for the fake news starting, and guess what? Within 24 hours, because on the Friday, the fake news was already out. They started the same rubbish they started with Obama. That Obama was not born in America, even though Hawaii is American. He was born in Hawaii, and it was called birtherism, which was led by, guess who? Donald Trump. And he wasn't even president then. He was just an old bod then, who was running with the "we can't have a black man running my country" type of mentality. So he started it up and he had a backing, and that's what led to his political career, to be honest. Now they've started the same rubbish with Kamala Harris. And what's worse about it, what's pretty bad about it, is the same way that all of his fake news starts. And this, you guys don't realize it. So what happens is either a right-wing group or a right-wing person, commentator, a known person, puts a tweet out, and then Trump retweets it, and then the press asks him about it, and he says, I don't know, I didn't see it, I don't know. But by the time he's put it out to 84 million of his followers, it's a done deal. The rest of you just run with it. And that's what happens. So on this occasion, some lawyer, right-wing nut, has put something that Kamala Harris is not eligible to be picked for vice president. But the woman was born in California. So where they're looking at is, well, her parents were not born here, so I'm sure she's not allowed to be running for and then you got a president who knows the rule, who should know the rules of engagement, the rules to being picked for office, the rules to running for office, and yet he is in front of the world's press and pretends he doesn't know. Well, I don't know, well, this lawyer's a very good lawyer. I mean, if he says he is that, then I don't know. Like his Secret Service haven't told him the woman was born in California. You do know, you just don't want to say it, because as long as you don't say it, those who follow you will stay on that path. Take a look, guys.
I should note he ended that briefing. He took several questions in between, but he ended it after he was asked by a reporter about this completely discredited op-ed, claiming basically that Senator Kamala Harris is not eligible legally to be the vice president of the United States because her parents are immigrants. Aaron, the president did not take the opportunity to knock this down. Instead, he said, quote, "I heard today she doesn't meet the requirements." He said he had no idea if that was true. It's not true. It's ridiculous to float that it is in any shape or form possibly true, because she was born in California, I believe in 1964. She is American. She is legally eligible to be the vice president of the United States. So there is no merit to that. But of course, this is a president who has a history of pushing birtherism. He started it in 2011 with President Barack Obama. And it's notable he did not take the opportunity today to say, no, that op-ed is ridiculous. It's not true. Instead, he just said he wasn't sure whether or not it was.
Which is, of course, ridiculous. He is sure. Thank you very much, Caitlin. I want to go to Jeff Zeleny now, covering the Biden campaign. So, Jeff, you have this now. And I wonder if they were even expecting this, that the president is now starting a birther campaign on Kamala Harris. What do you think the campaign response to that will be?
Well, look, I mean, the law is clear that, as Caitlin said, Senator Harris was born in California in 1964. It matters not that her parents were immigrants. So this is something that, is going to get a lot of attention. But it just simply is not a fact. It's very reminiscent of the Obama situation.
So that's what you've just seen is a breakdown of it. Now, this is how he actually fools you lot, okay? Because he gets the question asked, which he knows he's going to get asked after he's retweeted something. And then he plays like, oh, you know, I don't know. Is she really qualified? I don't know. Is she? I mean, that lawyer, he's... Take a look, guys.
Tweeted by a lawyer for the Trump campaign. And let me play the exchange in the briefing room for you, David.
Do you or can you definitively say whether or not Kamala Harris is eligible, meets the legal requirements to run as vice president?
So I just heard that. I heard it today that she doesn't meet the requirements. And by the way, the lawyer that wrote that piece is a very highly qualified, very talented lawyer. I have no idea if that's right. I would have assumed the Democrats would have checked that out before she gets chosen to run for vice president. But that's a very serious. You're saying that they're saying that she doesn't qualify because she wasn't born in this country.
So David, let's just be clear. She was born in this country. She was born in California,
Yes.
where you're.
Right, guys. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. As you know, I didn't bring you a video on Friday. I've tended to now give you a Corona roundup on Fridays. So as I didn't do that on Friday, I'm going to give you a quick look at what's going on, because we have a crisis on our hands now with coronavirus. I mean, the crisis is compounded in many countries by loads of other stuff. So, for example, you know, you have Bolivia, which is in political turmoil. They've had to postpone elections. New Zealand, even though they've done well, have had to postpone elections because they now have new imported cases. They've gone 100 days with no corona situation. You know, I've praised, anyone who's stuck with my channel know I've praised Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand. Her country done so great. I wish she was my Prime Minister. Every single day that I wake up, I wish I was being ruled by in a country where she was the Prime Minister. But they've got problems imported from the US. I'll let the video tell you guys that. But I mean, you got Brazil's facing a COVID and politics issue. You got Israel facing a COVID, race and politics issue. You've got the UK facing a race and a COVID and economic issue. You've got France facing a race, economic and a COVID issue. You got Lebanon that just got blown up by their own disaster, their own self-made disaster by storing ammonium nitrate near the port next to fireworks. Caused extra hardship on top of the political crisis, on top of the COVID crisis, on top of the economic crisis. So guys, the world's in turmoil. It is layered. Many countries across the world now have layered issues to deal with. This is a crisis and a half. Let me start with New Zealand. Take a look.
New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has called this a coronavirus election. New Zealand is holding national elections next month, and her party is expected to do very well because it has been praised both at home and abroad for its decisive and quick response to the coronavirus pandemic. A lot of people thought New Zealand was a little bit out there when, in the early days of the pandemic, when their numbers were still relatively low, they shut the country down. And they kept that lockdown in place until essentially they could declare that New Zealand was virus-free. And after that initial short-term pain, people in New Zealand enjoyed 102 days with 0 locally transmitted cases of the virus, which is extraordinary by any measure. Yes, New Zealand is an island nation. It has fewer than 5 million people. It is not densely populated, so there are some things that are going for them. But if people didn't cooperate with the restrictions, if people weren't listening to the government, a sign of respect for the leadership, well, then New Zealand would be in a very different...
Welcome back, guys. Now, let's go to Bolivia. Bolivia's got terrible issues. They've also had to postpone an election, but the people are not having it. The leader, the interim leader, has caught corona herself. It's just a mess, guys. Take a look at Bolivia.
Bolivia, people have been setting roadblocks and clashing with police forces for more than 2 weeks now. They are demanding quick elections. Stefano Pozzebon has that story.
A country facing 2 crises, the coronavirus and politics. These demonstrators in Bolivia are angry that the country's general election was postponed for a second time. Supporters of former leftist leader Evo Morales say interim President Janine Áñez is using COVID-19 to continuously delay the vote, giving her time to revive her political campaign, an accusation she refuses. Also furious over the government's poor response to the coronavirus pandemic. Bolivia has over 91,000 cases and nearly 4,000 deaths. The virus has overwhelmed morgues and hospitals, and the spread is not slowing down. Stefano Pozzebon, CNN.
Guys, on to my last video now. This is an overview. The breaking news on this video is that even though I've told you guys about the Russian vaccine, you know, everybody makes their own choices. Brazil as a country has decided to take Russia up on its Sputnik V, as in Sputnik virus, Sputnik V vaccine. Sputnik V, which the V stands for vaccine, and Sputnik was the first craft to go outside of the planet Earth, which the Russians claim in the 60s. So they've labeled their vaccine the Sputnik V. Now Brazil have taken them up on it. They have signed a deal to produce it in their own country and give it to their people. So here comes my last video, which is a look at Brazil, Spain, who's on a second wave-ish, and I'm feeling bad for them, as well as Germany is on a second wave. When I tell you this crisis is a real crisis, guys, I really mean it. So take a look at the last video, and I'll see you guys on the other side.
Are very much in play with Brazil's President Jair Bolsonaro. The outbreak there is still spreading rapidly, with more than 55,000 new cases in 24 hours, a number that includes the governor of Sao Paulo, by the way. More than 1,000 deaths as well. Among those who died was the First Lady's grandmother. And one Brazilian state has signed an agreement with Russia to start producing and testing that COVID-19 vaccine, Sputnik. Also, 6 weeks after lifting a nationwide lockdown, Spain is now recording the highest number of new cases in Western Europe. The country has more than 330,000 cases, even more than Britain. About 600 outbreaks have been reported across Spain, but a top government health official says it is too early to call this a second wave. I'll be speaking to the foreign minister next hour, and I'll ask her why it's too early to call it that. All of this has prompted Germany to expand its Spain travel warning to now include the capital and the Basque region. Germany is dealing with its own spike in cases. More than 1,300 new cases were reported Wednesday. And coming up next hour, as I mentioned...
Guys, we've come to the end of the show today, the first of the week. I hope it's been enlightening and informative. I look forward to seeing you guys for the rest of the week and my subsequent videos this week. In the meantime, just a quick reminder, it's less than 2 weeks away now, the big one, the Million People March. Hope we see you all there. Hope you're getting ready with your picnics and planning what you're wearing and that sort of stuff. Okay, we hope it'll be a sunny day. It looks like it should be an okay day in terms of the weather. So we look forward to seeing you all out there, mum, dad, granddad, everybody. So in the meantime, look after yourselves, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye now.